So we got this week, we got next week, then we got spring break. This week is actually like halfway through the semester. This Friday marks 9 weeks, so that'll be the end of the first half of the semester, and so we are about halfway through, and so we're getting there, and so I'm looking forward to spring break. Of course, if you're a senior, you're over halfway through. Like Cade, you're a senior, and you won't go all the way through the end of school because seniors get out early. So you're over halfway already. We're getting there. We're getting there. But let's pull up our cybersecurity lesson and see what we're looking at this week. All right, going to our grade screen. We're done with the virtual computing from last week. This week we have social engineering. Well, that could be interesting. We'll see what that is. Then we got network design principles, a career interconnection, discussion-based assessment, network security exam. We'll see. I may play around with those dates at the end of that. I need to take a look at those lessons. But anyway, for now, this week and next week till spring break, we'll do social engineering, and next week do the network design principles. So we're getting right along there. Let me go back to activities, social engineering lesson, network security, and social engineering. So when potential attackers manipulate individuals into revealing confidential information that may be used for fraudulent purposes, we call that social engineering. That's where they're tricking someone into giving them info about their account or their login or some type of information. Attackers typically exploit weaknesses using phishing, which is those emails that fake emails that make think, oh, I'm not logged in anymore. And, you'll click it and log in on a fake account. And now they've got your login information. Baiting, quid pro quo, pretexting, all kinds of stuff. Unsuspecting users might select a rogue link in a suspicious email and inadvertently download an infected file from the internet. So sometimes you click on one of those links and one of those emails, it'll actually download them on your computer, and you got a problem now. Types of social engineering. Social engineering scams have been around for a long time, but people still fall victim for them at an alarming rate. Here's an overview of common social engineering scams. So let's talk about phishing. One of the most common forms, your spam folder is full of these scams. Phishing is one of the most common forms of social engineering. It's usually delivered by email, instant message, or a website designed to impersonate a legitimate source. These messages are typically automated, and they're specifically designed to create a sense of urgency or fear, often leading to victims supplying them private information. A message may appear to originate from a bank or the government or even the victim's job. And yeah, they write Python code actually usually to send out a lot of these by the thousands, and it'll send them out and get people to think, I better click on this and fix that. But it's all fake. Baiting. Let's talk about what baiting is. It's similar to phishing. Baiting involves offering something to entice an unsuspecting victim in exchange for login or other private information. The attacker may offer a free download or leave a USB drive lying on the desk for someone to pick up. And once the bait is downloaded, malicious software is installed on the user's system, and the attacker gains access to private information. So if you find a USB drive lying around on a desk, don't pick it up and put it in your computer. Quid pro quo. This involves an attacker requesting critical data or login credentials in exchange for a service. Quid pro quo means you give me something, I'll give you something, right? We scratch each other's back here. A target might receive a phone call from an attacker that's impersonating a technology expert offering free IT assistance. or technology improvements in exchange for login credentials. Just give me your login and I'll give you this free IT stuff. Let me download that in your computer for you. Another common example is an attacker posing as a researcher, asking for access to the company's network as part of an experiment in exchange for money. If an offer sounds too good to be true, it's probably a quid pro quo attack. Probably not true. Morning, Griffin. See what pretexting is. Pretexting is when an attacker, often a real person, not a computer, creates a false sense of trust by impersonating a coworker or person of authority to gain access to login information. Call that pretexting. This type of attack may look like an email from an employee to what appears to be like the head of IT support, or a message from an investigator who claims to be performing a corporate audit. Pretexting is highly effective because it creates the expectation that something is legitimate and safe to interact with. Pretexting emails often gain access to passwords and business data because attackers seem legit. Kind of like as a planning commissioner in the city of Lowell, I get these fake emails and fake messages from the mayor. It's not the mayor, it's someone trying to scam me and make me think that they're a person of authority, someone that I know, and there's someone that I work with, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not true. And I bust them every time. I have a lot of fun with them. Face the consequences. Criminals often prey on vulnerable populations and victims of natural disasters because, cyber criminals are real classy folks. In these attacks, cyber criminals pretend to be legitimate sources as they contact victims through emails, text messages, or phone calls in an effort to acquire personal information like credit card and social security numbers. Here's what might happen if someone falls victim to a social engineering attack. All right, personal life. Steal money from bank accounts. That's usually the number one goal. Fraudulent charges on credit cards, which is kind of like stealing money from you. Tax returns filed in a person's name. Yeah, filing taxes. There have been lots of people that file their taxes and the government says, wait a minute, you've already filed your taxes. Like, no, I haven't. So the government's starting to put more safeguards in there to prove it's you when you file it now. Loans and mortgages opened in your name. That could be a big problem. Fake social media posts made in person's accounts, trying to fool your friends to send them money. Loss of access to photos, files, videos, other important documents. My wife's Facebook was stolen several years ago, and there's no way to get it back because Facebook does not have customer service. So we lost access to all her photos, videos, and years worth of stuff she'd pasted on there. So I went and kind of just one by one tried to go download them, but it doesn't mean I got everything because someone hacked into her account. Things that could happen at work: loss of corporate funds. They could probably steal a lot more money than from an individual bank account. Locked and inaccessible files. Damage to the employer's reputation. And exposure of personal information of customers and coworkers, outsider access to confidential communications files and systems. So lots of problems at work could come up with that. Social engineering countermeasures. How do we stop it? Attackers use a range of techniques to compromise the security system. So social engineering is best defeated by training people. Train your users to recognize and report suspicious situations. If you're not sure if it's a real email, check with IT. Don't just say, well, let me click and see. No, don't click and see. Check with someone. Companies and organizations should develop a list of best practices when it comes to preventing social engineering attacks. Let's take a look at some best practices. Train employees to use network and technology resources according to standard procedures. If you're not sure it's real, don't click on it. Create and maintain a report system for suspected attacks. So if there's something that looks suspicious, should be a standard way that an employee would know, oh, I need to click on this link and report this like this. There should be just a standard way to do that. Train employees to identify phishing and farming style attacks. Yeah, if you get a receipt for something you never bought, it's probably a phishing attack or something. Train employees not to release confidential information on social media. For Pete's sake, don't put it on social media. Other methods include shredding documents that contain sensitive information and restrict the use of administrative accounts as much as possible. Right. Least access. Identify the social engineering attack. So scenario 1. This is a guessing for us. Is this a social engineering attempt or is this legit and this is a false alarm? So let's see what you think. He kind of looks like one of the Property Brothers, doesn't he? You are a help desk support technician and you get a call from a supposed customer who says she cannot connect to the company website and check on her order status. She would like her username and password. Can you tell me my username and password? I can't log in for some reason. I don't have it. The user gives a valid customer name, but is not listed in a contact on the customer database. The user also does not know the correct company code or customer ID. They don't know the customer ID. They're just telling you a name, and they need, what's my username and password? I'm trying to get in and track this order. What do you think? Is this a social engineering attempt or false alarm? Yes or no? Social engineering attempt or not? Put that in the chat. What do you think? Very possible. I mean, you have places you order from. You have accounts with Walmart or Target or Home Depot or Amazon or Wayfair or wherever you buy stuff from, Kohl's. And now you don't remember your username and password. You're calling the help desk trying to get that from them. Should they give it to you, or you think that's a false? You think it's a false alarm and it's legit? Let's see. Attempt. Kate thinks it's an attempt. This is most likely a social engineering attempt. I agree, Kate. That's what I thought too. The caller has limited information and is not listed in the customer database. This is an example of someone claiming to be a legitimate user attempting to steal confidential information. Yeah, because anyone can just throw a name out there. Oh, yeah, this is Randy Johnson. I can't get my login to work. What? Maybe I'm using a different username. Yeah, they don't have enough information to really convince someone that they are even a customer. They're just trying to get some fake information. Let's look at scenario number 2. You're running late for work, and as you rush into the office, someone behind you hollers, "Hold the door." This could be at the school as well. It said they left their card in the car and they're late as well. They don't have their little ID badge. Where's mine? Here's. I don't have my ID badge. I left it in the car, but I'm running late. I need to go ahead and get in. You don't recognize them either. It's like, well, maybe it's a big company. You don't recognize everybody. They're well dressed. They must be new. I just don't recognize them. I don't know them yet. Self-engineering attempt to get into the building in a secure place or false alarm. This one could kind of go either way. Very well could be a self-engineering attempt. You should tell them to wait at the door and you'll grab a manager or person of authority. Or tell them you need to go get your badge out of your car because you're going to need it in the building. That's probably what I would tell them. If you don't have your badge, you're not going to make it very far in the building. You need to go back to your car and get the badge. And that's kind of determined right there. Is this a self-engineering attempt? This could go either way pretty easy. A lot of times this is how someone who means to do harm in a school building gets in. Hey, hold the door. Hold on. I have my badge. Yeah. Not supposed to let them in. You don't have your badge. You need to stay outside. Page 4. The risk of social media at work. And there are workplaces that say do not use our computers to get onto social media. Almost everyone has some sort of social media account, right? We use it to remain in touch with friends and family and even meet new people. It can bring people together and often offers job networking opportunities, right? But using social media can also have consequences. An attacker might use social media to cyber stalk, use the internet or other electronic means to stalk or harass an individual, group, organization. May include false accusations, defamation, and slander. Not uncommon. A cyber stalk a victim to discover information about their place of work, because a lot of people put their place of work on their social media. This information gathering is also referred to as passive reconnaissance. Publicly available information and tools for collecting and searching it are referred to as open source intelligence. It's publicly available information. If it's open source, that means anyone can see it. It's nothing's hidden, nothing's secure, and so publicly available information and tools for aggregating it and searching it. OSINT. This can put employees and their employers in a dangerous position, which is why most companies and organizations have strict social media policies. So here's a social media policy. Here's a sample of what one might include. It might have procedures for handling conflicts or crises. Who should and should not speak on behalf of the company? Because all companies pretty much have social media, right? So Bentonville Schools or Bentonville Virtual School or each individual, Bentonville High School, Bentonville West, they all have social media, and it should be very restricted on who can actually post stuff to that. What is and what is not acceptable contact and content. So the persons that can post know what's allowed and what's not allowed. Regulations, local requirements, and procedures for handling sensitive information, especially in heavily regulated industries. Like if you are a medical company, you need even tighter controls because there are things you could post that could get you in trouble because there are certain things you're allowed to say and not allowed to say as a pharmaceutical company. Like you can say, hey, this drug has been proven effective to treat this. You can't say, hey, this is the best drug ever. If you have this disease, our drug is the best one ever. It's the one you need. You'll get in big trouble with the FDA. There'll be lawsuits. You may get fines. You may have all kinds of trouble. You can't say that because you can't prove that. You can only say stuff that's actually proven. How employees can participate in spreading the word about the company and why they enjoy working there. So social media policy will change as technology changes. Because of this, it should be updated every year. So I'll speak on this real quick. See, I'm an ambassador for Kite Pharma, who they're the ones that got rid of my leukemia 3 years ago. And I'm an ambassador for them. I'm going to fly to Virginia over spring break. They're going to do a video on me, the website and all this stuff. But I'm not allowed to share, even though it's on their video. It's on their website. There are videos of me already on their website. I cannot share that on social media. That's just their social media policy. Now, like my friends and family can share it on social media, but not me. I'm the ambassador. I have a contract with the company. I cannot say, hey, check out this video of me on this website. So I said, if it's publicly on the website, why can't I share it? And they said, well, it's just our policy. I was like, okay. Well, that means the policy makes sense because it's not a secret. It's a public website. Let's chatcarT.com. And there are videos of me on there. But I can't share that. So that's interesting. Different policies, but you need some kind of regulation. And it's probably the best thing, just so somebody doesn't say something when they post it that can get them in trouble as an employee of the company or someone associated with the company. All right, last page here, page 5. Knowledge check, as usual. We always have this knowledge check at the end. Try your hand, identifying different types. So, what is one of the most common forms of social engineering? It's usually delivered by email, instant message, website, and designed to impersonate a legitimate source. We know this one, phishing. Like I said, your spam folder is full of phishing attempts. Everyone's is. All right. Which social engineering technique involves offering something to entice an unsuspecting victim in exchange for their login information or their private information? Offering something. Well, if I remember correctly, wasn't that quid pro quo? I'll give you something, you give me something? Or was it baiting? Let's see. No, I guess they're going with baiting. Baiting. See, I still can't tell the difference between baiting and quid pro quo. Let's see. Involves an attacker requesting critical data or login in exchange for a service. Okay, that's the quid pro quo, I guess. Still, they're offering you a service as opposed to a thing. So there's really not a big difference between baiting and quid pro quo in my mind. See, that's the quid pro quo. Exchange for service. And then finally, the other one would be an attacker creates a false sense of trust by impersonating a coworker or person of authority. That was the pretexting that we looked at. So, all right, let's look at the assignment that goes with this. 3 attempts. What is it called when a user selects a rogue link in a suspicious email or inadvertently downloads an infected file? Okay. Which social engineering technique involves an attacker requesting critical data in exchange for a service? Oh, we just talked about that one. Social media policy should. There's your multiple choice. Ray receives a phone call from someone that sounded like her manager, claimed to have forgotten the company's VPN login information. Raven, hey, tell me what it is. See, that's pretexting. What's the term for gathering personal information from public sources like social media? All right, social engineering. This is a fun one because we all see this. Everyone tries to email us. We get all these fake phone calls where they're trying to, bait us or whatever. Crazy world we live in. It ain't gonna get any better. So, till technology is enforced to make it better, because I think a lot of this could be better screened by the technology companies. We'll see. All right, guys. One more week till spring break, so we'll have that next week. This is a B-Day Friday, so I will only have class on Wednesday. If you need anything, if you need any help with anything. So, all right, guys. Have a great week. We'll catch you next time.